All right, guys, so today's video is going to be really interesting because I still have David here from Coachman. He's actually here to help kind of address the whole brake issue. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. He really goes into depth into why this unit left the assembly line with the brakes the way they were. So go check that video out, but we're not going to talk much about that other than the fact that they work really good. I mean, disc brakes are pretty awesome. They're pretty amazing.
Highly recommended. You can't get them right now.
Yeah, you can get them aftermarket, right?
You can.
But yeah, very, very cool option to have. But you know, it was interesting because we were chatting and he's like, well, what do you like about it? You know, this is a concept prototype unit. Unfortunately, because of supply chain issues, getting components, things like that, some of the things we talked about haven't been able to be implemented in current or future models at this time.
Correct.
But all that being said, you know, he was asking me, what do you think about certain things? And I gave him the quick tour of some of the things that I've done to this unit since we've got it. It's pretty interesting,
I've seen the
right?
videos, but you watch one video at a time. When you see everything all at once that you've done, it's pretty astounding.
How it all kind of comes together, from the side view cameras to, you know, how we did the battery bank inside there, the inverter,
spray ports, you know,
yeah. A lot of interesting aspects, you know, and for the most part, I would say that the bones of it are about 85–90% all 398 MBL bones. You're not going to really get much different there, but we did some really cool things like the 8,000-pound axles, the hydraulic disc brakes, which we're not going to talk too much about those, but they do work well. The tires that they put on it were those huge, beefy, J-rated Goodyear tires. I swapped them out for Continentals because speed rating issues.
Well, yeah, everybody was honking at JD going down the road because he was driving way too slow.
62 miles an hour in Texas ain't going to cut it, right?
No,
so we got the Road Armor suspension under there, which is actually something that's standard on their units.
And I actually took polls, so I went through every comment from every video and charted together kind of like a marketing output, you know, so that I knew exactly what everyone liked the most. So what got the most comments. This got more comments, more positives than anything else.
And who would have thought? Who would have thought the small space behind the fireplace, and it's not so small, but the space would be so good for your power cable. All the things that clutter up the front basement storage area, you can essentially set here.
Correct.
And it was such a great idea to utilize that space.
And everyone loved the graphics.
Oh yeah, the graphics are fantastic.
Obviously, and I hate to keep bringing up COVID, but just it's the automotive industry is going through the same thing right now. I'm trying to buy a new car for my wife and I can't find one. RVs are basically in the same situation. So just to give you a couple ideas, the graphics on the outside, that was something that we could change pretty quickly, pretty easily. We updated the front cap this year. There's a couple of tweaks we made on the inside. I would love to say that we've been able to build a JD unit. The amount of engineering time and the time it takes to train people on the production line to build it would essentially be a new floor plan, because we couldn't name it the 398. It would have to be a new floor plan.
Yeah, like the BTBRV.
Right, there you go. So we have made some of the changes, very few of them, I have to say. There's actually, I was astonished when I pulled into the storage facility here.
You parked in front of the wrong one.
I parked in front of the wrong one because there was a brand new Coachman Brookstone with the new graphics package and new paint. I am supposed to be taking pictures right now, JD, back at the factory, but I haven't been able to do that. We've got our prototypes that are going to be leaving at month end. So I've got to hurry up and go back to Indiana and shoot those so I can get them up online so everybody can see them. I might share a picture with you that you could post online or something from an iPhone. But anyhow, so yeah, COVID's been happening. Just getting the materials, there's been glue shortages, air conditioner shortages. There has been refrigerator shortages. The Samsung refrigerator that we use, we can't get it right now. So we had to supplement to another one. Different TVs. Yep. It's probably one of the worst times in the industry to try to build JD's unit right now. Anyhow.
Let's keep walking around.
Sure.
So here's one that you didn't expect. What do you think of the bumper and the luggage rack we put here on the back? And before you answer that, a lot of people are like, well, why didn't you put this on the back in the first place? Well, the fact is that the length of the 398 MBL just barely squeezes down your assembly line as it is.
Correct.
To extend a bumper off the back would actually make it not fit. Am I right?
That is absolutely correct. There's vertical beams halfway down the production line that would keep this from going down the line. So, because the units are essentially on wheels going down sideways. So that would be an issue. So we actually did offer this years ago in Chaparral. I'm sure
we had it on our previous Chaparral.
JD's first Chaparral 360 IVL had this on the back.
Yep.
So
very, very useful item. We did have the brackets on the shackle hangers reinforced. I don't know if you saw the video where the folks from Lippert came out to do that.
Absolutely.
Yep, and we found out through that the reason why they're not done like that on all of them is it's a weight thing. If you don't hit a certain weight, you really don't need that.
Need for it. Yeah.
So, but yeah, he added it, and he says basically you've fixed a problem you haven't had.
Correct.
So this is typical. So this is an outside kitchen. I don't have it open. It just has a small refrigerator and a small sink inside of it. The spray port was new, so they put a spray port on each side. It used to be here. I moved it here so I could put a 12-volt plug here, not for the 12-volt plug, but so I could clear the space off on the inside of this. And then I showed him the battery bank and all this, and I told him it's like a $7,500 retail cost to put all that stuff in, and he's like...
You could buy an Onan 4kW generator, or you could put in JD's lithium system.
Or you could do both at some point, I guess.
There you go.
Yep. Got the washer and dryer prep in here. We got the goose box. Sorry about the airplane noise. We got them flying overhead right now. There he is right there.
So here's another item, guys. I'll just point out real quick, the Onan generator here. I mean, Cummins has not been able to get the generators, so we've not been able to offer them. We took them off the price sheets for the time being. So,
and you may see it on an old price sheet or on a website where somebody posted the price sheet, but that doesn't mean that dealers can currently order it with that, just like disc brakes right now, right?
That is correct. Dual pane windows have been really hard to come by lately. So imagine trying to run a production facility, and it's not like we have storage for 100 units to come off the production line and be stored waiting on parts. Those dealers, retail customers, are screaming for the product, so we've got to ship it. So we have to make some tough decisions every once in a while, and that was one of them. You know, we're going to have to pull the Onan off the price sheet. We can still do the prep from the factory so that when they start coming in, you know, better supply, dealers can install them after the fact if they wanted to. No problem whatsoever. So I tell you what, we got an awful lot of comments on this goose box.
They're cool, man.
It's pretty neat.
They're cool. And until you see one in person, because you actually helped me hitch it up when we were leaving, until you see one in person and you see the benefit, you're like, wow, I don't understand it. I don't quite get it. But when you see one in person, it's pretty awesome.
It is. It is.
Of course, we got the LCI Solid Step XF. Some manufacturers are now offering this, so it's not as if it's something that you can't get, but it's something that is not offered currently aftermarket. I like it. It's kind of a love-hate thing. I don't really see the ability to remove it as being a positive function so much, because if you're squeezed in here, this thing's not lightweight. So when you remove it, you still got to kind of drag it down to the end. But it was cool because Lippert said, you know what, let's try it on this and see what it's like. Absolutely. It's cool. It's wide. I mean, it is significantly wider than the Moride version of this, because the Moride is like that thick on each side, so you lose a good section of your step. But I do like it. It's really cool.
Absolutely.
Let's take a step inside and see some of the things that we did differently in here. A lot of little things that were done to this unit that are a little bit different.
I love this.
Isn't that cool?
Looks sharp.
And it's so inexpensive. Talk about something, I mean, that costs $20 worth of materials, and it totally changes the look of the island, I think.
The darker strips, everyone liked the darker strips there.
We even put the stuff here behind the cabinets. And I showed them the video of taking down the little side valance pieces right here, because it makes contact with your chairs and it kind of tears them off. And what did you guys decide to do?
Yep, we took them off.
Yep. Flip on the light right there that says sofa. There you go. Now go ahead and crank up the dimmer and you should be able to use it.
Look at all this custom stuff here.
Yep.
Nice little LED lights JD's added. But yeah, the dimmers are a nice touch.
And in my opinion, you know, some brands, they put dimmers everywhere. You don't need them everywhere. You know, dimmer right here and a dimmer right here. That's all I feel is needed. They don't need to be everywhere.
JD, not from the factory.
Yeah, that wasn't them. This was something we installed aftermarket, and it's pretty easy to install, but very easy, very quick upgrade. Now, what else did we do here?
Well, you changed out your sofa.
Yeah,
seats, at least.
So the one that looked like these are gone, and then we got the new Lippert seats that are in here, or the new Thomas Paine from Lippert. These are all electric. They have all sorts of cool features like the headrests, even recline. Let's see here.
That's a must-have.
Oh yeah, this thing's like, I gotta find the right buttons. I always hit the wrong buttons on this thing. There it is. I mean, it's just really cool. You got heat, massage. I still don't like how you can accidentally hit a button and turn on your heat and kind of not tell that it's on without paying attention to the lighting, but it's a very, very cool seating.
So I have to ask, do you utilize the storage that we added here?
Sometimes. So it depends what we have in here at any particular time, like our daughter's toys. Sure. When we bring her big old bag of toys that she wants to play with, when she's done playing with them for the evening, that's where they go. You know, things like that, like comforters, blankets, and stuff like that you might typically have to walk from the front to the back. Those go in there as well. But then we take it all out when it's in storage.
Looks nice.
Yep. Here's one thing you didn't know. Well, maybe you saw the video, but the AC, right? We have 3 of them in here. And again, the reason why they haven't really been able to expand on that is supply chain issues. It's hard to get any system, let alone a Coleman system.
They had it on the original marketing for last year.
Yeah.
I had to pull it off.
Yep. But what's cool, though, is literally cool, is if you drop these down, I changed how the air ducts into the system now. Right. Did you see how I did that?
I have seen that, yeah.
Yeah, and man, boy, does it make a world of difference. And in that video, I explained that the tape that goes in there from the factory, a lot of times you'll open it up and the tape will have come loose. A lot of that didn't come loose in the factory. I had a chance to tour the factory and see the tape always sits flat when it's in the factory. But you get it on the road, you switch climates from Elkhart or Middlebury, Indiana, down here to Corpus Christi, Texas, and then it sits on a dealership lot for a while, that tape might start peeling up a little bit. So it's always good just from a preventative maintenance perspective to get in there occasionally and press it down and make sure it's all laying flat.
This was the biggest change to the interior of the unit. We actually shifted this wall. This in a traditional 398 has a really elaborate cabinet system that goes over the top, over, you know, and then you're walking into the mid bunk here. Whereas in JD's unit, we're adding, you know, I don't want to show them all of your goods.
But there's not really anything in there.
But adding the closet there. And then you got your entry here into the bunk.
Really dark mid bunk that's currently not lit up, but we have the slide in right now for this. But yeah, so it was amazing how much room you were able to save.
Right.
You know,
and just little tiny things like, you know, JD and his wife, they liked the darker wood, so rather than using the lighter wood, you know, like we have here over here, we went to the darker. Just little tiny things, little tweaks.
Yep, and then the shower, we did a big change in the shower in there. What I can honestly say, and we can step back here a little bit, is this unit really turned into something that was unique for us. We like the aspect of having a coffee station, the shelf there, because you can walk through a lot of mid-bunk floor plans and they don't have a lot of space right there. There's just not much because they put the entrance there, kind of like the current 398. Correct. The current 398 does give you a little countertop right next to it, but what we wanted was, you know what, even if this doesn't look as fancy as the current 398, we felt it was a little bit more functional.
There's definitely some function there.
Yeah, and we wanted to put function over form.
Absolutely,
right?
And you know, like this. That is just neat. You know, he's already got his... So who does the cooking, JD?
We both do. It depends what we're cooking. If it's fattening, I probably make
That's a great idea. That's all JD.
And then this right here too. But we changed this.
You tweaked out. Yeah. I still have this saved in my Amazon cart, just so you know.
Oh yeah, and I sent him my idea, but basically the one that they had a, you know, it was a very heavy duty flip up counter. It was extremely heavy duty, but we didn't like how it angled back when it was down. And with this one, when it's up, I mean, and those things are super heavy duty.
That is heavy duty. That's not going anywhere.
And it works out really well. It turned out great. It looks great. It's a little bit more straight profile whenever it's down, but it worked out really good. And it's super easy to put down. I can't put it down because I'm holding the camera, but if you just reach in from both sides, you'll feel the little piece that flips up. And then
that's sweet.
Bring it down, and then the same little hooks clamp in place over it. So that was easy enough. That was probably a 30-minute job. You know, everything in here, it's worked out really well. We're really happy. The AC system works amazing. Having all 3, even before I modified the ductwork, works absolutely amazing. And these are all 13.5 units, so they're not 15K units. We only keep one running in here on 84 degrees when we're not in here. And it's off right now. It's cycling off, and it's cool.
A lot of that is the radiant barrier insulation. I've noticed that our customer base, after I educate them, after talking to customers at shows, whatnot, a lot of them didn't realize how much insulation we're putting into the unit. The Asdale makes a huge difference. I remember speaking to you on a hot, you know, day this summer where you had put your hand on the interior of the wall of the Brookstone, it was still cool. And you're going to another coach and it's hot.
The Beacon, and it was hot.
Yes.
You know, at the end of the day, guys, it's practical use of an RV. This isn't an RV that I would consider to be a full-time living RV, one that you're like, I'm going to move out of my house and just put this on a piece of property and live there forever. If you do that, it's not necessarily rated for that per se, but the other thing you have to realize is there's certain things with your home that are different. Like, for instance, if you're going to put this out on a piece of land permanently, or you're going to keep it at a place for months and months and months or years at a time, you're going to want to enclose the bottom portion, that air gap at the bottom. You're not going to want that cold air getting underneath it. You're going to want to take practical steps to give you a better experience. Because RVs, they're not like homes in the sense that you can build the walls as thick. You can use the same type of insulation, the same type of furnace.
And think about it. If a 6-inch exterior walled home in North Dakota can freeze in the middle of winter, a pipe can freeze on the inside of the house, certainly any RV could freeze.
Well, brother, we've proven that Texas, you can freeze.
You can.
Yep. I mean, in Corpus Christi, we froze. And I'll tell you what, it's been 6 months since the freeze down here in South Texas. And I called a plumbing company to get a hydrostatic evaluation on a piece of property we have. And they told me that they're still backed up doing plumbing repairs.
Isn't that something?
So imagine an RV. Just something to consider. Anyways, honestly, you know, despite the one issue we're having with the whole brake stuff that we're getting resolved, I appreciate that. He's actually here to oversee that. Again, check out that video if you want to know kind of what's going on there. But I appreciate you coming down and kind of going through it. You know, overall, we do love the unit. It's great. We've had fun in it. We haven't been able to take it out as much as we'd like to. COVID's impacted all sorts of different things, including booking a trip sometimes.
It has.
Yep. Anyways, guys, again, I really appreciate it. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we will talk to you again very soon.